Good afternoon everyone, and thank you very much for attending on this sad occasion. As you're aware, a 19-year-old male person and a 2-year-old girl were killed last night on the Tasman Highway just after 9 p.m. Prior to this tragic event occurring, a silver Holden Vectra was stopped in westbound traffic approaching a random breath testing site that was being conducted at around about Midway Point. The Vector performed a U-turn and travelled in an opposite direction to the random breath testing site in a direction back to Sorell. That vehicle performed that action at high speed and overtaking a number of vehicles in the area. Just west of Nash Street, the Vector crashed into a pole with significant damage to the vehicle. The driver and passenger were thrown from the vehicle, and sadly the toddler, who was still in the vehicle, died at the scene. The male also died at the scene. The young female passenger was conveyed to the Royal Hobart Hospital by ambulance, and she is suffering from non-life-threatening injuries. This is a tragic event. The loss of 2 lives, particularly a young child, is a shocking outcome. The young woman who survived the crash has lost her daughter and partner in devastating circumstances. Our thoughts are with her, with the family, and all the loved ones of those who have passed. I'm also mindful of the impact this can have on police, fire and ambulance officers who attended. There are a few call-outs that are more significant than this. The circumstances surrounding the crash are under investigation by Southern Crash Investigation Services. However, initial investigations indicate that the police was at least 1 kilometre behind the vehicle. There is no suggestion that a police pursuit was underway. Investigations to date indicate that police were operating within the law and within departmental procedures. Professional Standards is reviewing the circumstances of the crash, as we do in all cases like this, and they attended the scene last night. The events of last night were tragic and traumatic for all concerned, and I would like to acknowledge the professional manner in which my officers conducted themselves and the way they dealt with the situation confronting them. I fully support the manner in which they dealt with this terrible situation. These are tough circumstances for police and emergency service workers, and we will do whatever we possibly can to ensure that they're well fully looked after. Crash Investigation Services would like to hear any information that the public would have in relation to the silver Holden Vector in the Midway Point area around 9 p.m. last night. Anyone with information can call Crash Investigation Services on 131 444 or Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Now, I'm mindful of the fact that this is an investigation. It will be judicially looked at under the coroner's provisions, so files will be put together for the coroner, so I'll be very mindful about how much information I go into. So if there are any brief questions, I'm happy to take them.
Tony, can you just explain to us, if it wasn't a pursuit, why were police following at all?
Why? It is common practice that a random breath testing site is set up for the purpose of testing people on the road. That is a normal practice that's gone on for years. Now, clearly, if a person appears to have avoided that RBT site, then there is it's our duty to ensure that we make inquiries and follow, as they did in this set of circumstances, to see whether they were in fact trying to avoid the random breath testing. Now, we have an obligation to protect the roads, and those actions that were performed in that case were particularly right within the boundaries of the law and within the boundaries of the procedures. So I'm more than comfortable with all the actions performed by the police.
So I know it's early days, but have there been any testing of the driver to see whether he actually did have any drugs or alcohol in his system?
That's the type of thing that a coronial investigation would undertake, and we will just have to wait the outcome of that.
Is it true he didn't have a full licence?
Again, that's another thing that the coronial investigation will pursue, and all those things will come out at the end of the day.
Were any
No one
officers
to
so
police at all?
distraught by this that they've requested time off or had to take time off?
Oh, look, it's only just happened overnight, but any normal person would react to an abnormal event like this, and their reactions are normal. And what we will do is make sure that we provide the appropriate support so that they can surmount those problems. It's natural, and we're doing what we can to make sure they get through it.
Tony, the car that was following this vehicle, did that have its lights and sirens on?
Look, all that sort of detail will come out, but that is a normal procedure to have lights on. But some significant distance beforehand must be made aware that the police were alerted of the U-turn by other road users, not by police. So the police were quite a distance away.
Was that police car going at some speed?
All those types of issues will be addressed. There are a lot of mechanisms that we can look at that will fold into the coronial investigation, but I'm quite satisfied that there was no pursuit and they were operating within the boundaries of procedure and law.
And was this girl in the toddler in the back, was she the man's daughter?
I understand that they are a family unit, so yeah, tragically it's, there were no winners out of this.
Have the next of kin been identified?
Have been notified?
they
Of
been?
course, yes.
Did the toddler die on impact before the car burst?
There are all types of technical matters that would need to be addressed, but clearly it's been as a result of crashing.
Are the names, names are out there on social media and in some media outlets, are we officially releasing them at any point?
Basically, this is something that we do. We have to tread very carefully here. We're dealing with people's personal lives. It's a tragic event. We've got some coronial matters that we need to deal with, but we also have to look at the sensitivities that are surrounding this. So we've all got to be responsible. Now, what we do is make sure that the families are comfortable with what we're doing. We're obviously working for the coroner, but we're also working for the family. And how those names come out officially is something that we work through, and we will deliver them in the public arena when it's appropriate.
Is there anything on this boy's past dealings with police, if there had been any, that would suggest why he would feel the need to try and evade you?
Well, they're obvious matters that we would be looking at for an investigation. As I say, well, it's not, I don't know the person, so yeah, that's just a normal inquiry that would be presented to the coroner.
But in the briefings that you've had so far, there's been no suggestion that he was known to police?
Oh, look, I don't have that information with me. That's, I can honestly say that. I don't have that information.
One more question, guys.
How is
Tony's
Mum?
gonna run.
What's her condition?
Just as I've said, non-life-threatening injuries.
Has she
So
said anything?
I don't have that information. We've obviously got to be fairly careful. She's injured, so we need to make sure she's okay as well.
Tony, can you just define the difference between following and a pursuit? I mean, if you guys are following it, sort of lights and sirens on, I know at a distance, but how is that not a pursuit?
The definitions around that are pretty clear to the police, or very clear to the police. Police will only engage in a pursuit if it's for the protection of life and serious threat to life, or serious offences where there are threats to life. So they're very tightly bound. This falls clearly outside of that, and that's why the police have acted as they have. So I'm quite satisfied with that. Thank you.